16, UCLA taking on Alabama. Alabama opens up as a 4.5-point favorite. That has since risen to 6.5. Total at the open is 144. I'm seeing 145, 145 and a halves in this one. And Drew, let me come to you first. Alabama loves to play up and down the court here in transition. UCLA, pretty good in their transition defense here. So something's got to give. How do you have it?
Yeah, UCLA is a fascinating handicap, Joe. I mean, when I came into this tournament, in terms of power rating conferences, I was really unsure of my numbers, really the market numbers, just because there was a lack of cross-pollination with conferences playing conferences. And sure enough, the Pac-12 coming out the gate looking really strong. And I kind of made notes to myself to make sure to kind of get off of my numbers early. And I think we've seen that adjustment in the marketplace just in this number. Alabama minus 6.5. I'm not sure if it's enough here. It's kind of a difficult handicap just because UCLA, yeah, they down the stretch of the regular season, not looking all that great at all. Losing to Oregon State, USC, Oregon, Colorado, and then coming into the tournament, having that really close fought game against Michigan State in the first four. But since then, finding themselves in the Sweet 16, beating BYU and Abilene Christian. I mean, hats off to Abilene Christian, great season. And BYU, I think, was pretty overrated there in the WCC. So they've had a pretty easy road to get to the Sweet 16. In my opinion, it's a huge step up in class to Nate Oates' Alabama team. This Alabama team, like you talked about, Joe, up and down the court and a top 5 team in terms of defensive efficiency. That's a great profile of teams I like to bet. They knock down their free throws as well. So keep in mind, this is all coming from an Auburn fan. In terms of fandom here, I would like to see Alabama lose, but my money is on the Crimson Tide, Joe.
So the market also there, Tony Mejia, agreeing it's all Alabama in this one, continues to go their way. What do you think?
Well, strength in numbers plays a key role this time of year, and certainly Alabama right now is among the deeper teams in the entire country. They got Joshua Primo back. It was really nice to see him because I didn't think he would make it back for this tournament. He made a contribution in the rout of Maryland, and I really loved what they were able to do in that game against the Terps because the two teams were beating each other up, getting into it, from a trash talking standpoint, and then Alabama just put on the foot on the gas and dusted them. And it was a really impressive performance, one that we haven't really seen from Alabama in a while. In the SEC, they kind of decided that they would be more of a defensive-minded team. And against the Maryland Terrapins, they were able to really go full throttle on the three-pointers. UCLA, you know what you're going to get from them. They got 2 key players that have to get going for them to have a chance in this game, Johnny Juzek and Jaime Jaquez. And then you got your X factors. So there really is no room for error for Mick Cronin's squad. I understand the line move, but I don't love that number is getting up so far north. If you haven't gotten in already, you're going to have to do some serious give some serious thought to potentially staying away from this game. But Alabama is definitely the rightful favorite.
So, Dave, 337th in tempo, UCLA going up against Alabama, number 11. Can UCLA dictate tempo in your mind in this one?
I don't know, because Alabama just faced a team that, in terms of pace, plays very much like UCLA. They played Maryland. Maryland is a very slow-paced team, and they were completely unable to snail it. In fact, if you watch the first few minutes of the game, Maryland got out to a quick start. They were hitting everything early. And you could look at that and say, boy, this is the time to jump in and bet Alabama live, because you could see Alabama was going to get the ball up and down the court. And that was not going to be good for Maryland. So I guess it's the same thing here. UCLA has to find a way to slow the tempo down. What I would recommend, if you want to bet something here, is wait and see what the tempo looks like early. Not what's happening with the shots, because it's possible that they might be going up and down the court and UCLA might be hitting shots early. But if they're going up and down the court, eventually Alabama's going to pummel them. If, on the other hand, UCLA is able to stifle Alabama's movement and turn it into more of a grind, then the Bruins are going to have a chance. The market's going to be all over Alabama here, and with good reason. They were last weekend. They bet Alabama like the game was already over, and they all got paid because they ended up blowing out the Terrapins. So I can see why the money's coming in on Alabama. I would agree with Tony that the line has gotten a little bit rich. The value's kind of gone. I am going to take a look at betting this in game and hoping that I can get Alabama down early, but that the pace is fast. If that's the case, I'll bet Alabama live. If not, I'll just sit it out.
Our live odds page at WagerTalk.com. Guys, make sure you visit it right now. 64% of the tickets, 91% of the money coming in on Alabama. It is rolling tide, roll tide.